A good mother. She taught me how to love antiques. She taught my oldest daughter how to love antiques, along with my mother. She also taught me how to go to somebody's house. You don't go to somebody's house empty-handed. My grandmother would show up with my kids, for my kids, with my, coloring book, apple juice, anything. Pencils, pencil box. We had a great time. I'm gonna miss my grandma would call me at 8 o'clock in the morning because Martha Stewart was on, and we would watch Martha Stewart. And sometimes we'd craft it. I don't know how she knew what was coming on, but she would make sure I had the materials and we would do what she was doing. So I enjoyed her. I'm gonna miss that. I'm gonna miss you, Grandma. I'm glad she instilled a lot of that in my children. My children are gonna miss her. So, and I'm actually gonna miss the family gatherings, even though they kind of went away years ago. Still gonna I miss them and gonna miss them. So, anyways, that's my.
Thank you for sharing.
Hi, my name is Ron Jefferson, and I was lucky enough to get to work as a principal at Jefferson School, and those were enjoyable years. And one of the most enjoyable things was watching Shirley working with Roberta Bohannon, and they had a very special relationship. And their classroom, it was neat watching them work together. Those were different. She was like a grandma. She could work with some of the toughest boys, with a chip on their shoulder, and just try to make me do things. And Shirley, she just had a down-home way of connecting with kids from all different kinds of backgrounds. Because as you all have noticed, Shirley could get along with anybody. She was not class conscious at all, and I think that made her a really valuable, precious person to get to work with and watch the way she worked with children there at the school.
Yeah. Speak nice and loud.
When the time changed, Shirley was down in Escondido there after she had fallen and broken her head, so Frank was stuck at home. And Shirley was down for several months. The time changed, and Frank gave me a call. Hey, you home? Yeah, I'm home. All right, I'll be right over. We're on his clock. He didn't know how to set the clock. Shirley, and every event we have here. She was always the first to be here and the last.
Absolutely.
Frank is standing at the door, with her purse, door open, car door open, trying to get Shirley.
Truck running. Yeah, thanks for sharing, Brenda. I had forgotten about the antique loving. I forgot about that. Well, Joe, go ahead and, yeah.
My mom and my mom, Ivagene Kinley Dunn, I'm Richie Dunn, were cousins. And my first memory of Shirley and my cousin Amanda, I always called her my cousin, she's my second cousin, but was when we first moved to Dinuba. My brother and sister and my mom and myself, and Mom was just had become a single mom as a result of divorce, and we moved back to Dinuba where she grew up. And my first memories of Shirley and my cousin Amanda were the fact that she supported in many ways my mom through tough times. And when you're young, you don't typically remember things as you probably should and be appreciative. But when my thoughts about Shirley are that she was always so very friendly, very kind, and a great person. Rest in peace, Shirley.
Up here, Joe.
Thank you. In the family of words, my wife wants me to introduce myself. Etta Bear.
I have to just echo everything that all of you have said. Fortunately, I got to see Shirley whenever I wanted to, and Frank whenever I wanted to, because we were only 3 miles down the road. And like Brenda, the clock wasn't set. We'd often get calls, "Hey kid, what you doing?" "Well, what do you need, Frank?" "Well, my remote's not working again." So I'd come over and help him out. Frank and Shirley are not like second parents to me. They are second parents to me. Shirley and Frank, when my mom was diagnosed with pancreatic cancer about 13 years ago, just like a grandma and grandpa would do, stepped in and took care of my family for 9 weeks while I was at the hospital with my mom. My kids would call me, "Mom, you need to hurry home, we're getting fat." Mark would tell me, "Honey, we need a second refrigerator because all this food is not fitting and we can't eat it fast enough." They were always there. They always will be. Shirley is beyond the amazing woman that you've all known and have grown to love. I would like to invite you right now just to look up at Shirley's picture while I read this. About a year ago, I don't know if even Frank knows this, but Shirley and I had a discussion about death and dying and what she wanted to leave behind. Comfort, happiness, hugs and kisses were all on that list. But she wanted for all of you and all of us to know to be kind. That was one of Shirley's words. I'm shaking because she wanted all of us to be kind. When Allison asked me to find some type of a poem or a reading, I probably spent 3 days before I found just the one. And when I read this one, I thought, oh my goodness, This is what Shirley would want us to hear. So if you could just focus your eyes up on Shirley's picture up there, that beautiful, amazing woman. This is a letter from her. To my dearest friends and family, some things I'd like to say, but first of all, to let you know that I arrived today, and I arrived okay. I'm writing this from heaven. Here I dwell with God above. Here, there's no more tears of sadness. Here is just eternal love. Please do not be unhappy just because I'm out of sight. Remember that I'm with you every morning, noon, and night. That day I had to leave you when my life on earth was through, God picked me up and hugged me and said, "I will, man." And foremost on the list was to watch and care for you. And when you lie in bed at night and the day's chores put to flight, God and I are closest to you in the middle of the night. When you think of my life on earth and all those loving years, because you are only human, there are bound to bring tears. But do not be afraid to cry. It does relieve the pain. Remember, there would be no flowers unless there was some rain. I wish that I could tell you all that God has planned, but if I were to tell you, you wouldn't understand. But one thing is for certain, though my life on earth is o'er, I'm closest to you now than I ever was before. There are many rocky roads ahead of you and many hills to climb, but together we can do it by taking one day at a time. It was always my philosophy, and I'd like it for you too, that as you give unto the world will give to you. If you can help somebody who's in sorrow and in pain, then you can say to God at night, my day